So, let me get this straight. We're getting a Lord of the Rings movie about a character we already understand, in a story where we already know the outcome, stretching about 2 pages of lore into 2 hours of film. A movie where the main event is a guy being hunted, captured, interrogated, and then escaping. That's it. That's the film. This isn't expanding Middle-earth. This is stretching it. And today we're going to watch the nonsense unfold. If you enjoy breaking down films that fall apart the moment you look at them properly, hit like, hit subscribe, and stick around, because this one might be a masterclass in modern franchise desperation. And I want to know your take as well. Does this sound like a story worth telling, or just another studio holding on to the precious? Let's start with the obvious question. Why does this film even exist? Because it's not story, it's not demand, it's not some long-lost Tolkien masterpiece. It's rights. Studios like Warner Brothers don't sit on valuable IP and do absolutely nothing. They have to use it, or risk losing control. And suddenly, we get a Gollum movie. Funny timing, isn't it? Especially after the disaster of The Lord of the Rings Gollum. That went down badly. So the response is, let's double down. But here's the thing. They're dressing it up nicely. Andy Serkis back as Gollum and directing. Peter Jackson involved, original writers returning. On paper, that sounds reassuring. In reality, that's nostalgia doing the heavy lifting. So, what is this film actually about? It's based on a tiny section of the Fellowship of the Ring, specifically the hunt for Gollum, which happens off-screen in the original films. A quick summary. Gollum knows Shire Baggins. Gandalf panics. Aragorn goes hunting. Gollum gets caught, interrogated, escapes. End of story. That's not a film, that's a plot explanation. We already know he doesn't die. He doesn't change. He ends up in Moria anyway. There is absolutely zero tension. You're watching a story where the outcome is locked in from the start. It's like making a film about how someone posted a letter. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because they can't make a film out of nothing, so they have to invent things, and this is where the nonsense usually kicks in. What to expect? Number 1. Original characters, who will probably die. New Ranger, new ally, new emotional hook. Dead by Act 2, because the main characters can't be touched. Number 2. Big CGI battles that didn't exist. We're absolutely getting orc ambushes, Mirkwood action scenes, possibly Legolas flipping and jumping around for no reason, all to justify the ludicrous budget. Number 3. Extended hunt sequences, tracking footprints, sniffing the air, looking serious for about 40 minutes. Number 4. Gritty, dark, Tolkien tone. They'll probably try to push torture scenes, psychological struggle, split personality drama, because that's the only way to stretch Gollum into a lead. And suddenly you've gone from Tolkien to something that feels like a fan fiction expansion pack. Here's the core issue, and it's a big one. This story has no uncertainty. We already know Gollum survives, Aragorn succeeds, Sauron gets partial info, the Fellowship still happens. So, what are we watching for? Not suspense, not mystery, not character change. We're watching connective tissue, and connective tissue is not a movie. Now, let's talk about the thing nobody wants to say out loud: de-aging. Because if they bring back Ian McKellen, Viggo Mortensen, they can't look their current age. So what do we get? Digital smoothing, CGI faces, that slightly off look. We've seen this before, and when it doesn't work, it pulls you straight out of the film. You stop watching the story and start watching the technology, and maybe you start laughing at this nonsense. That's dangerous, especially for a world like Middle-earth that relies on immersion. Look, I like Gollum as a character. He works because he's part of a bigger story. However, he's not the story. And that's the mistake here. This feels like a rights play, a nostalgia play, a we need content play. Not a story that demanded to be told. Not a story that people actually want. Will it make money? Probably. Will it justify its existence? That's a very different question. If you enjoyed breaking this down, hit like, hit subscribe, and let me know in the comments. What part worries you most? The story, the filler, the de-aging, or just the idea of this film existing at all? Because right now, this doesn't feel like Middle-earth expanding. It feels like it's being mined, and not in a good way.